When you think of the lifestyle of the rich and famous, what comes to mind? Most of us picture luxury cars, huge mansions, and designer clothes. We imagine millionaires jetting off to exotic destinations, indulging in expensive meals, and living a life of carefree extravagance. It's easy to believe that being rich means constantly spending money on the finest things, flaunting wealth, and never worrying about finances. However, the truth may surprise you. In The Millionaire Next Door, the authors shatter this glamorous image. They reveal that many of us have been misled about what it truly means to be wealthy. Instead of lavish spending, the real secret to becoming rich is living well below your means. The authors studied the lives of millionaires across the country, and what they found was eye-opening. Many of these wealthy individuals are far from flashy. They don't drive the latest sports cars or live in enormous homes. Instead, they lead modest, often unassuming lives. You might not even realize that your neighbor could be a millionaire because they don't fit the stereotype of what we think the rich look like. The book dives deep into the habits and mindset of the truly wealthy, emphasizing that wealth is not about how much you spend, but how much you save and invest. These millionaires prioritize financial independence over material possessions. They carefully plan their finances, avoid unnecessary debt, and make thoughtful investments that allow their money to grow over time. So, next time you imagine the rich and famous, remember that real wealth often hides in plain sight. It's not about showing off. It's about smart choices, long-term planning, and a commitment to living below your means. That's the true path to financial freedom, according to The Millionaire Next Door. Most of us have a very specific idea of what it means to be rich in America, often shaped by Hollywood, music videos, and advertisements. We think of wealth as a life of luxury, complete with designer clothes, expensive sunglasses, and garages packed with the latest sports cars. The image we have is glamorous and flashy, filled with private jets, lavish parties, and endless shopping sprees. But here's the twist. This picture is far from reality. In The Millionaire Next Door authors Thomas Stanley and William Danko turn that common belief on its head. They dive deep into the real lives of America's wealthy, and the results are nothing short of surprising. Most American millionaires don't live in exclusive, high-end neighborhoods or spend their days shopping at luxury stores. Instead, they live modestly, often in middle-class suburbs. In fact, one could be your neighbor, quietly accumulating wealth while living far from the glamorous lifestyle we associate with the rich. Many people have little understanding of how wealthy families actually operate. We're often led to believe that to be rich is to spend endlessly, indulging in every luxury available. And industries like Hollywood and advertising do an amazing job of reinforcing this idea, making us think that the more you have, the more you spend. But that's simply not true for the majority of millionaires. Stanley and Danko's research, which is the most detailed ever conducted on American millionaires, shows a completely different picture. These individuals focus on saving, living within their means, and investing wisely. They don't care about keeping up with trends or showing off their wealth. Instead, they prioritize financial independence, security, and long-term wealth building. This isn't just a book about how to get rich. It's a complete redefinition of what wealth looks like and how it's achieved. By shedding light on the real lives of millionaires, The Millionaire Next Door provides a new, more accurate understanding of wealth in America. It's not about hyperconsumption and luxury. It's about smart financial choices, discipline, and living a life that allows your money to grow over time. This book offers an essential roadmap for anyone looking to achieve financial success, while debunking the myths we've been fed for so long. During their research, the authors, Thomas Stanley and William Danko, went to great lengths to get an inside look at the lives of America's millionaires. They didn't just study them from a distance. They met over 500 of these individuals face to face. To truly understand their habits, they even hosted a penthouse party and invited the typical millionaire next door types. What they observed at this party was incredibly telling. Despite being surrounded by luxurious surroundings and the finest wines, not a single millionaire indulged in the delicacies or expensive drinks. Instead, many of them quietly nibbled on simple crackers, and their attire was equally modest. Most showed up wearing well-worn, understated suits, proving that outward appearances often have little to do with true wealth. This moment encapsulates the core message of the Millionaire Next Door. Wealth is not about what you flaunt, but about what you quietly save and invest. The millionaires that Stanley and Danko met were, above all, frugal. They lived lives that prioritized financial independence over flashy spending, and this is the secret to their success. In this book, the authors take readers on a journey through the world of wealth management and the steps necessary to attain financial freedom. If you've ever wondered what it really takes to become wealthy, who better to learn from than two highly respected social scientists who have spent over 3 decades studying the habits of the rich. Stanley and Danko break down the profile of the millionaire next door, revealing the financial practices that have allowed these individuals to amass and maintain their wealth. The key lesson: budgeting and controlling expenses are vital, no matter how much money you have. Many millionaires reach their status not because of enormous salaries, but because they carefully manage their spending. They live modest lives, investing wisely and avoiding frivolous purchases. The book also emphasizes the importance of passing these financial habits down to the next generation. If you have children, The Millionaire Next Door provides crucial advice on raising them to be financially responsible and savvy, ensuring that they too can achieve financial freedom in the future. In essence, this book dispels the myth that wealth is synonymous with extravagant spending. Instead, it highlights that the real path to wealth lies in living below your means, making thoughtful financial decisions, and planning for the future. It's a practical guide for anyone looking to achieve lasting financial independence and prosperity. Live below your means, save regularly, and invest wisely. There's a well-known saying about the life cycle of family wealth. The first generation makes the money, the second generation builds on it, and the third generation spends it all. This sums up the common problem many wealthy families face, but the millionaires next door break this pattern. They are content with their modest lifestyles and prioritize living within their means. Instead of splurging on luxury items, they focus on consistently saving and investing their money to ensure long-term financial security. As the title The Millionaire Next Door suggests, the average millionaire isn't living in a glamorous mansion in Beverly Hills or an exclusive property on Park Lane. In fact, many millionaires live in regular, middle-class neighborhoods and homes that don't stand out. According to Harvard-trained mathematician John Robin, about half of America's millionaires live in modest homes rather than upscale neighborhoods. Despite this frugality, these millionaires report high levels of happiness and satisfaction with their lives. A striking statistic from the book reveals that 90% of millionaires who live in homes valued at less than $300,000 are extremely content with their lifestyles. These individuals have learned that true happiness doesn't come from extravagant spending, but from financial freedom, stability, and the peace of mind that comes with living a life of careful planning and responsible choices. Ultimately, the secret to their success lies in this simple formula: live below your means, save regularly, and invest wisely. This mindset allows them to grow their wealth steadily over time, without succumbing to the pressures of keeping up with flashy appearances. It's not about how much money you make, but how you manage it. And these millionaires have mastered the art of wealth management through discipline, patience, and foresight. One of the most important lessons from The Millionaire Next Door is that reaching financial freedom isn't about how much you earn, but how you manage what you have. A key strategy is to live below your means. One of the research subjects in the book, a highly qualified engineer, shared how she and her husband achieved financial security by practicing extreme frugality. After college, they both landed good jobs but made a crucial decision. They would live off one income and save the entire other salary. Every time they received raises, instead of upgrading their lifestyle, They simply increased their savings. For over 20 years, they've lived in the same modest 1,900 square foot home, never feeling the need to move into something bigger or flashier. Even more impressive is how they've passed these frugal values on to their children. The engineer shared that her children sometimes wonder if they are poor, especially when their parents insist on ordering from the $1 value menu at fast food restaurants. But this isn't about deprivation. It's about teaching long-term financial discipline and the value of money. The millionaires that Stanley and Danko interviewed also show a great deal of caution and intelligence when it comes to investing. Unlike the popular belief that wealth automatically comes from the stock market or high-end real estate, the average millionaire is much more conservative. Typically, they don't have more than 30% of their wealth tied up in publicly traded stocks. Instead, they believe in taking control of their financial future by focusing on investments they can directly influence. For many of these millionaires, private investments are key. They prefer lending money to private individuals or investing in businesses where they can have some control over the outcome. Rather than taking the risks that come with stock market volatility, they choose more stable long-term investments that allow them to manage their wealth with more certainty. Owning businesses and investing in ventures they understand gives them the kind of control that ensures steady growth over time. This caution and careful management of their wealth highlights a crucial lesson. Becoming and staying wealthy isn't about making big, risky bets. It's about being strategic, staying in control of your money, and making decisions that secure your financial future in the long run. Interestingly, about 80 to 85% of millionaires in America are self-made. These individuals didn't inherit large sums of money or come from wealthy families. Instead, they worked hard, built businesses, or strategically invested their earnings to create and accumulate their own wealth. They aren't the trust fund beneficiaries often portrayed in movies. This idea of self-made wealth is incredibly important because it shows that financial freedom is within reach for anyone willing to follow certain principles and adopt the right mindset. Self-made millionaires deeply value financial independence. They don't just dream of wealth. They actively pursue it through careful budgeting, smart investments, and a determined mindset. They understand that wealth isn't just about having money, but about managing it wisely, making thoughtful decisions, and consistently saving and investing. However, what really sets these millionaires apart is their attitude toward the process of building wealth. While many people see budgeting and saving as restrictive, self-made millionaires approach it with enthusiasm. They genuinely enjoy the challenge of accumulating wealth and appreciate the discipline it requires. For them, financial freedom isn't just the goal. It's the journey itself that brings satisfaction. This positive mindset plays a crucial role in their success. They view wealth accumulation as an exciting, rewarding process rather than a burden. Their passion and dedication drive them forward, and as they build wealth, they maintain a long-term perspective, constantly working towards financial security and freedom. This approach is what truly sets them apart and helps them achieve the much-coveted status of financial independence. Save, don't spend. One of the most eye-opening truths about wealth is that people who look wealthy aren't necessarily as financially secure as they appear. These are often the big hat, no cattle types, those who put more value on appearances than actual substance. They may drive flashy cars and wear designer clothes, but that doesn't mean they have real financial security. On the other hand, your typical millionaire next door takes a completely different approach. They save rather than spend. The case studies in The Millionaire Next Door make it clear that financial independence is the ultimate goal, not the illusion of wealth. Millionaires next door aren't interested in showing off their money. Instead, they focus on building it. They understand that true freedom comes from being financially secure, not from conspicuous consumption. This approach prepares them for life's uncertainties. If a financial crisis strikes, whether through unemployment or an emergency, they've already built up enough savings to comfortably support their current lifestyle for the foreseeable future. Essentially, there are two types of people: those who spend their money, and those who deliberately save and build wealth. The first group, known as prodigious accumulators of wealth, PAWs, are the Millionaire Next Door types. They build their wealth by living frugally, managing their time wisely, budgeting carefully, and making smart investments. They live below their means and focus on long-term financial security. The second group, known as underaccumulators of wealth, UAWs, may earn a good income but fail to save and invest efficiently. They tend to spend most of what they earn, often prioritizing luxury and lifestyle over financial security. To become a prodigious accumulator of wealth, the key is to build wealth efficiently. This means using your time wisely, being deliberate with your money, and sticking to a budget. Living below your means and investing wisely ensures that your wealth grows over time, allowing you to achieve financial freedom while avoiding the trap of overspending and debt. This mindset shift, focusing on savings rather than spending, can make all the difference on the road to financial independence. How are you feeling about your credit or debit card situation right now? If you're like many people, you might be struggling with the realities of living paycheck to paycheck. It's a common scenario, especially for those of us who haven't quite mastered the art of budgeting or sticking to financial goals. Many of us fall into the category of underaccumulators, spending more than we should, neglecting to save, and making impulse purchases that slowly chip away at our wealth. It's easy to think that wealth accumulation is only for those who already have a lot of money. But what happens when you're earning a modest income? Can you still build wealth when you don't have much to begin with? The answer is yes. Even with a modest income, you can start making smart financial decisions that set you up for future success. The key is learning how to live below your means and resist the urge to spend impulsively. It's about shifting your mindset to prioritize saving, no matter how small the amount may be. Over time, small savings can grow into substantial wealth if you stay committed to the process. Start by creating a budget that allows you to save a portion of your income, even if it's just a little. Be mindful of where your money is going. Cut back on unnecessary expenses and avoid getting caught up in the pressure to keep up with others. Wise investments, no matter how small, will also help your wealth grow over time. It's not about how much you earn, but how you manage what you have. With the right habits and discipline, even those with a modest income can take the first steps toward financial freedom. Income versus wealth. It's important to understand the key difference between income and wealth. Your income is what you earn, your paycheck, your salary, or your wages. Wealth, on the other hand, is what you've managed to save and accumulate over time. Many people make the mistake of assuming that a high income automatically means someone is wealthy, but that's not always the case. To put this into perspective, it's helpful to calculate your net worth and compare it to your age and income bracket. This provides a clearer picture of whether you're building wealth efficiently or falling short. There's a simple formula to determine if you're on the right track. Multiply your age by your annual pre-tax income, then divide that number by 10. The result is the expected net worth for someone of your age and income. Let's take an example of a 60-year-old doctor who makes $560,000 a year. At first glance, you might think he's wealthy because his net worth is $1.1 million. However, when we use the wealth formula, 60x 560,000/10, his net worth should be around $3.36 million. This tells us that despite his high income, he's actually an underaccumulator of wealth. He's likely living a high consumption lifestyle, spending rather than saving and investing, which means he's not as wealthy as his income suggests. Now, consider a different scenario. A 40-year-old policeman and his wife, who is a secretary, with a combined income of $50,000. They live modestly, save carefully, and invest strategically. Their net worth is $460,000. Based on the formula, 40x 50,000/10, their expected net worth should be around $200,000. But because they've accumulated much more than the expected amount for their age and income, They are considered prodigious accumulators of wealth. This formula is a valuable tool because it helps us see whether we're truly building wealth relative to our earnings. It highlights that wealth isn't just about a high salary. It's about how much you save, invest, and grow over time. Being wealthy means being a good steward of your income, no matter how much or how little you make. The key message here is simple. If your net worth exceeds the amount expected for your income and age bracket, you're doing well as a wealth accumulator. You're making smart financial decisions, building wealth, and moving closer to true financial independence. But if your net worth falls short, it's a sign that you're spending too much and need to reevaluate your financial habits. Interestingly, millionaires next door, the self-made, everyday millionaires, have several key traits in common that contribute to their financial success. The millionaire next door is budget-conscious and sets long-term goals. One of the most striking habits of these millionaires is that they are incredibly budget-conscious. According to research, 62% of millionaires next door regularly evaluate their expenses and stick to monthly budgets. They have a clear understanding of where their money goes, which helps them make informed financial decisions. In contrast, the majority of underaccumulators, those who fail to build wealth, are often unaware of the true cost of their consumer-oriented lifestyles. They may be spending more than they realize, without a clear picture of how it's impacting their financial future. Millionaires next door also tend to care less about keeping up with appearances or maintaining a high-status lifestyle. Instead of focusing on status symbols like expensive cars, clothes, or gadgets, they focus on their long-term financial goals. They prioritize wealth building over flashy purchases and are willing to make sacrifices for their future financial security. Take cars as an example. While it might be tempting for someone with money to buy the latest luxury model, most millionaires next door opt for more practical, cost-efficient options. Many of them buy well-maintained, used cars rather than brand-new vehicles. They also avoid taking out loans for cars and instead pay for them in cash. This means they're not tied down by monthly loan repayments, freeing up more of their income for savings and investments. In short, these millionaires understand the importance of balancing the present with the future. They make thoughtful, deliberate choices that allow them to save more, invest wisely, and build a solid financial foundation. Their ability to stick to a budget, avoid unnecessary debt, and focus on long-term goals is what sets them apart from underaccumulators and keeps them on the path to lasting wealth. Their ultimate goal isn't about spending on luxuries or filling their lives with material possessions. Instead, it's all about achieving true financial freedom. Millionaires next door want to live life to the fullest and enjoy their retirement with peace of mind and security. They have a clear vision of what financial independence looks like, and that vision fuels their motivation to save and invest wisely. Imagine waking up each day without the stress of financial worries. You can travel, spend time with family, or pursue hobbies without constantly checking your bank account. This dream is what drives these millionaires. They understand that by living frugally today, they can create a brighter future for themselves and their loved ones. So, what long-term goals could inspire you to embrace a more frugal lifestyle right now? Perhaps it's saving for a dream home, planning for an unforgettable vacation, or building a secure retirement fund that allows you to live comfortably without the fear of running out of money. The millionaire next door identifies market opportunities and chooses the right profession. Spending money on economic outpatient care. Did you know that more than 46% of wealthy Americans provide financial support to their adult children and grandchildren? This phenomenon, often referred to as economic outpatient care, highlights a significant aspect of how millionaires next door manage their wealth. While it may seem generous and supportive, these financial gifts can sometimes create dependency rather than encourage financial independence. On average, wealthy Americans give at least $15,000 each year to their children or grandchildren. Interestingly, many of these beneficiaries are in their 40s and 50s, adults who should ideally be establishing their financial footing. Additionally, about 61% of wealthy parents provide forgiveness loans to family members, meaning they don't expect repayment. Many also help their children buy new homes, 59%, and pay for their grandchildren's private school tuition, 43%. At first glance, this may appear to be excellent parenting, helping the next generation achieve their goals and secure a better future. However, these financial handouts can inadvertently foster a sense of dependency. While the support may help children and grandchildren get started, it often leads to long-term reliance on their parents' wealth, creating a cycle of economic dependency that can last for decades. Parents who provide ongoing financial assistance tend to find themselves with significantly less wealth than their counterparts in the same income category who do not. This dynamic reveals an important lesson. While it's noble to help your children, doing so at the expense of your own financial security can be detrimental. The concept of economic outpatient care suggests that excessive financial support can diminish not only your financial health, but also your child's ability to be financially independent. Children who receive regular subsidies from their parents often become underaccumulators of wealth. The more financial help they receive, the less they tend to save or invest for themselves. This support can trigger further consumption. If they know that money is always coming from their parents, they may feel encouraged to spend more, thinking, "Why save when I can just ask for help?" Moreover, this cycle of dependency often leads to a sense of entitlement. Children may develop the mindset that they are entitled to their parents' wealth, relying on credit to bridge gaps while waiting for additional financial support. This can result in poor financial habits that can follow them into adulthood. In contrast, successful children from wealthy households who learn to be financially independent tend to appreciate the value of hard work and self-sufficiency. Instead of relying on financial handouts, they build their own wealth through smart saving, investing, and budgeting. They understand that true financial security comes from their efforts and decisions, not from a reliance on their parents' wealth. Ultimately, while it's wonderful to support loved ones, it's essential to strike a balance. Encouraging independence and self-sufficiency in your children can lead to healthier financial habits and a more secure future for everyone involved. Instead of fostering dependency, consider teaching them the value of hard work, budgeting, and saving, which will empower them to accumulate their wealth over time. So while the jobs may not have the excitement of flashy tech startups or trendy fashion boutiques, the financial rewards and job security can be enormous. Millionaires Next Door are savvy in identifying market opportunities that allow them to thrive. They recognize what people need and find ways to meet those needs efficiently. But don't worry if you're not the entrepreneurial type. You don't have to start your own business to build wealth. A common thread among the many interviews with self-made millionaires is their ability to choose professions where their skills and services are in demand. They often work in fields that may not seem glamorous but offer stable employment and good pay. For instance, they might be teachers, healthcare professionals, or skilled tradespeople. These individuals make a conscious choice to develop skills that are valuable in the marketplace. They invest in their education and training, ensuring they're prepared for opportunities that come their way. By focusing on careers that offer growth potential, they position themselves for success. In essence, the Millionaire Next Door philosophy revolves around understanding what it means to live frugally today for the rewards of tomorrow. They don't just dream about financial freedom. They take active steps to achieve it by choosing smart careers, identifying market needs, and living within their means. This strategic mindset is what sets them apart and allows them to accumulate wealth over time. So whether you're thinking of starting your own business or advancing your career, remember that the path to financial freedom is within reach for everyone willing to work hard and make wise choices. Spending money on economic outpatient care. Did you know that more than 46% of wealthy Americans provide financial support to their adult children and grandchildren? This phenomenon, often referred to as economic outpatient care, highlights a significant aspect of how millionaires next door manage their wealth. While it may seem generous and supportive, these financial gifts can sometimes create dependency rather than encourage financial independence. On average, wealthy Americans give at least $15,000 each year to their children or grandchildren. Interestingly, many of these beneficiaries are in their 40s and 50s, adults who should ideally be establishing their financial footing. Additionally, about 61% of wealthy parents provide forgiveness loans to family members, meaning they don't expect repayment. Many also help their children buy new homes, 59%, and pay for their grandchildren's private school tuition, 43%. At first glance, this may appear to be excellent parenting, helping the next generation achieve their goals and secure a better future. However, these financial handouts can inadvertently foster a sense of dependency. While the support may help children and grandchildren get started, it often leads to long-term reliance on their parents' wealth, creating a cycle of economic dependency that can last for decades. Parents who provide ongoing financial assistance tend to find themselves with significantly less wealth than their counterparts in the same income category who do not. This dynamic reveals an important lesson. While it's noble to help your children, doing so at the expense of your own financial security can be detrimental. The concept of economic outpatient care suggests that excessive financial support can diminish not only your financial health, but also your child's ability to be financially independent. Children who receive regular subsidies from their parents often become underaccumulators of wealth. The more financial help they receive, the less they tend to save or invest for themselves. This support can trigger further consumption. If they know that money is always coming from their parents, they may feel encouraged to spend more, thinking, "Why save when I can just ask for help?" Moreover, this cycle of dependency often leads to a sense of entitlement. Children may develop the mindset that they are entitled to their parents' wealth, relying on credit to bridge gaps while waiting for additional financial support. This can result in poor financial habits that can follow them into adulthood. In contrast, successful children from wealthy households who learn to be financially independent tend to appreciate the value of hard work and self-sufficiency. Instead of relying on financial handouts, they build their own wealth through smart saving, investing, and budgeting. They understand that true financial security comes from their efforts and decisions, not from a reliance on their parents' wealth. Ultimately, while it's wonderful to support loved ones, it's essential to strike a balance. Encouraging independence and self-sufficiency in your children can lead to healthier financial habits and a more secure future for everyone involved. Instead of fostering dependency, consider teaching them the value of hard work, budgeting, and saving, which will empower them to accumulate their wealth over time.